Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Universal Transcendent. My talent is multiplied by 1,000 times. Chapter 11. Oh my god, what's the situation? When several scouts of the Shadow Department saw the situation in the dark. Immediately, they burst out one by one, with shocked expressions on their faces. What's the specific situation? Lei Kai asked quickly. He couldn't see the dark situation in the distance, but he could feel that there seemed to be many kobolds in front of him. That Zhou Yu probably pulled out the entire Cobold tribe. A scout said very fast. When the captains and others heard this, their faces changed wildly. Damn it, enter the cave and line up. Lei Kai immediately roared. The cave here is only 5 meters wide. As long as the defensive array is lined up, kobolds are impenetrable. But the problem is that those kobolds are not stupid, they will not rush into it stupidly. They will also retreat. And at this time, Zhou Yu didn't know what he had done that made people complain. Actually pulled so many kobolds. But soon, they became clear. Looking at the Cobold tribe, the raging fire. Everyone's face is not calm. This guy is so fierce, he dared to directly set fire to the Cobold tribe, which is even worse than the kobolds. Brother Zhou Yu, resist in the front, don't rush to our defensive formation. Seeing Zhou Yu rushing over, followed by a large number of kobolds, Lei Kai roared immediately. If Zhou Yu led the charge, they might not be able to stop so many kobolds. For others, carrying a kobold on their shoulders outside the defensive formation is death. But judging by Zhou Yu's posture, it should be fine to resist, he has a hard head. No problem. While running, Zhou Yu panted in response. Wearing a light armor weighing more than 20 kilograms, Zhou Yu was physically exhausted after the previous battle and the 1-kilometer training afterwards. Zhou Yu's defense is high, but his strength and physique are still lacking. About 3 meters in front of the defensive formation, Zhou Yu turned around and began to carry the output of many kobolds. It seemed that Zhou Yu was carrying many attacks, but in fact, Zhou Yu just stood there and rested. Just fight, if you can move one step, I will lose. Seeing Zhou Yu carrying so many kobolds by himself. Kill! Rikai let out a roar. Spears and war guns stabbed out along the gaps in the defensive shields. Although some kobolds were also attracted. But more kobolds were attracted by Zhou Yu. After all, this damn tin can is too damn it. How dare they set fire to their camp? If not on the battlefield. Zhou Yu wished he could just lie on the ground and rest. It took 2 or 3 minutes for Zhou Yu to recover. Then, Zhou Yu began to hold the long sword and began to output. Although these kobolds were angry, they soon realized that something was wrong. The one behind cannot see the one in front, and the one in front blocks the one behind. In addition, the incoming firepower was attracted by Zhou Yu. This made Lei Kai and the others extremely happy to kill. In just a few minutes, they killed hundreds of kobolds. After another 50 or 60 kobolds died. Finally, the following kobolds knew they were afraid, and they began to retreat. They retreated. Lei Kai and others would not let them retreat. He just chased him out. Chase all the way for hundreds of meters. Another 20 or 30 kobolds were killed, and the crowd quickly chased to the Cobold territory before they retreated in an orderly manner. Brother Zhou Yu, I'm really convinced. Your defensive ability is simply too terrifying. With so many attacks, I'm actually fine. At this time, everyone looked at Zhou Yu as if they were looking at a monster. The armor was smashed and distorted. But Zhou Yu still acted like a normal person. This kind of defensive ability, they have never heard or seen. Is this guy really human? But in the Transcendent world, anything can happen. It is not surprising that the defense is strong. This method of pulling monsters is really good, but it's a bit of useless armor. Ha ha ha, there's plenty of this armor, I can get you as much brother Zhou Yu as you want. This wave they killed almost 200 kobolds. And it's nearly harmless. Zhou Yu's hatred was pulled too well. Let's take a break and continue later. Today we will pull out this Cobold tribe. Zhou Yu said indifferently. Ha ha ha, do everything according to brother Zhou Yu's instructions. ... After more than 2 hours. After 4 waves of pulling. The entire Cobold territory had been almost burned by Zhou Yu. The elite kobolds were also killed by more than 30 people. The Cobold wizard is also very cunning, and he doesn't want to play tricks at all. I know that Zhou Yu and his group are amazing. He ran away directly. This made Zhou Yu feel very sorry. Although, killing a boss-level small boss like a Cobold wizard may not be able to explode anything, good things. But killed the boss creature. That can add a lot of color to Zhou Yu's resume. It will also be easier when you get promoted in the future. It's a pity that the Cobold wizard didn't give this chance at all. During the final cleanup of the fire-filled Doghead territory, Lei Kai and the other two captains found Zhou Yu. Brother Zhou Yu, this time the Cobold tribe is being cleaned up. Brother Zhou Yu should be the first credit. After reporting to Master Zhong Lei, Brother Zhou Yu will soon be able to acquire the Transcendent profession. Maybe, you can also get some special Transcendent jobs. The special Transcendent profession, how can it be so easily obtained? Zhou Yu shook his head. Hey, Brother Zhou Yu, don't underestimate yourself. Just Brother Zhou Yu's heaven-defying defensive ability. Completely qualified for the special Transcendent occupation. As far as I know, our Steam city-state still has some places this year. Oh, Zhou Yu frowned. This time Zhou Yu showed some tricks of his own. The purpose is to hope to acquire some good Transcendent professional Transcendent skills. If it is really a special Transcendent job, then this wave is a good blood earner. This time, our original goal was to eliminate about 500 kobolds. And we uprooted the Cobold horde. Brother Zhou Yu will be promoted in the future, and I hope that Brother Zhou Yu can take care of me. Lei Kai is very clear about a special existence like Zhou Yu. Sooner or later, you will rise to the top and become a big shot. Now that he is familiar with each other and has a good relationship, it will be of great benefit to his fortune. Of course, Zhou Yu said pleasantly. Before I knew it, it was the 7th day of rotation. On the 5th day, everyone joined forces to wipe out the Cobold tribe. On the 6th day and today, it is time for everyone to refresh. Brother Zhou Yu, are you going to hunt in the dark again? Seeing that Zhou Yu planned to enter the darkness, Lei Kai teased. This is to patrol and eliminate those dark creatures that are approaching, so that the lighthouse can be better protected. Zhou Yu said solemnly. I understand, Brother Zhou Yu, just leave this place to us. Lei Kai waved his hand in a very righteous way. Alone into the dark, not long. Zhou Yu came to the abandoned castle again. After these days of communication, Zhou Yu had reached a tacit understanding with this necromancer called Ryu. I couldn't wait for Zhou Yu to speak. The surrounding skeletons broke through the ground one after another. Counting, exactly 100, one not more and one not less. He's really a good guy. If it weren't for the fact that he gained a lot from this guy, I really want to report back. Although I don't really care about loyalty, but for guys who like to dig people's graves, they don't care about morality. Zhou Yu thought secretly. Speaking of which, are there really good things in the ancestral graves of those nobles? While killing the skeletons, Zhou Yu chatted. How would I know? I have never dug other people's ancestral graves. Ryu said angrily. Those rotten bones have no effect at all. That means you didn't dig the ancestral graves of the heroic spirits in the Corn City State some time ago. It's all done by grave robbers, who planted it on the head of the Necromancer. Anyway, it's not a day or two to pour dirty water on the transcendence of the dark system. That's true. Zhou Yu is also clearly in the transcendent world. There are many things, always find someone to take the blame. Dark wizard, necromancer, evil spirit wizards, etc., are perfect blamers. After killing all the skeletons, Zhou Yu stood on the spot and felt it carefully. Just started. Zhou Yu killed 100 dark creatures. The increase in the frankness of life gave Zhou Yu a feeling of intense expansion. And with the practice during this period of time, the comprehensive strength continued to improve. On the 7th day, when 100 creatures were killed, the feeling of swelling is already very weak. Zhou Yu reckoned that he would have to kill about 150 of them to feel the swelling feeling of the first day. Although the level has not improved. But with Zhou Yu's practice these days, strength and physical strength have all improved to a certain extent. After all, it has a talent of 1,000 times, in this area where the source power is thin. Zhou Yu's progress is still rapid. Overall, the effect is still very good. Today, it is almost 700 times, or even more than 800 times the basic body frankness. Even the various methods used by this Ryu are basically scraping. I could still feel the aura of more than 20 levels from that Ryu before. In the past 2 days, I can't feel his transcendent breath at all. Could it be that this guy is more powerful than I thought? While thinking about it, Zhou Yu looked at the abandoned castle where Griu was. I'm really curious, what is the treasure that traps you? Zhou Yu's words made Gria's heart twitch inexplicably. I want to know, just come in and take a look. Griu's voice came faintly. It is good. Zhou Yuyan stopped and walked straight to the castle. Is this guy serious? Griu twitched the corner of his mouth. But when Zhou Yu came to the entrance of the castle, Zhou Yu's eyes narrowed slightly, but he didn't move on. The creepy feeling was already lingering in Zhou Yu's heart. Danger. Strong defense does not mean that Zhou Yu is omnipotent. If Zhou Yu is trapped in the Jedi, with Zhou Yu's current strength, it is likely that he will not be able to escape. At that time, they will still starve to death. This guy's strength is stronger than I imagined. Oh, forget it. Since there was danger, after thinking about it, Zhou Yu still didn't take the risk. After all, it is a good treasure, but for Zhou Yu, there is no treasure around him that can increase his talent by 1,000 times more than own. Moreover, it is still a treasure that wizards value. It may not be effective for the path of a human shield fighter like myself. More importantly, Zhou Yu only felt the breath of the treasure, but did not feel that the treasure was too attractive to him. Own talent, Zhou Yu is clear. That treasure is not attractive to him, even if he gets it by himself, it is useless. Although I want to help you get out of trouble, I obviously feel the danger. Since you don't appreciate it, forget it. Zhou Yu waved his hand and said. Hee. Griu sneered twice. Yesterday you told a lot about the Sun God Empire, let's continue today. Oh yes, the lives of the upper clans you mentioned, are they really so extravagant? More exaggerated than you think. If you want, in a few days, you can take an airship with me to the Steam King City, or even the Demon King City. Those places are the real prosperous places. Corn City State is just a 4th-rate, or even a 5th-rate borderland. In those large royal cities, right, wealth, fame, beauty, all of them are there. As far as your talent is concerned, it's not easy to say, but it's almost the same. The Transcendent world is as vast as an ocean. Compared to the entire Transcendent world, the Corn Steam City State is just a small puddle. Even the Demon Tower needs someone else to install it. And in the outside world, the world teleportation array across the star plane already exists. Sooner or later, you will become an existence like a big man, why bother to nest in this small place? Zhou Yu's predecessor was just an orphan of the Corn Steam City State. And Zhou Yu, who came through time, also worked hard to own the money. For the situation outside the entire Steam world, Zhou Yu really didn't know much. In the past few days, from the mouth of Griu, a necromancer who came from outside, Zhou Yu really learned a lot about the outside world. How is it? Are you interested? See the vast world outside. Zhou Yu shrugged his shoulders. A very exciting proposition. But I prefer to go out by myself than someone else to take me out. The world of Transcendent is wonderful, and it will be even more wonderful if I uncover it with my own hands. Also, I'm going to be doing a rotation this afternoon. I'll be here in a week. I hope that by then, you will be out of trouble, otherwise, I will go in and pull you out. Zhou Yu said so. Say it. Zhou Yu has already entered the depths of darkness. This time, Zhou Yu's performance was outstanding and amazing. There is a high probability that during the rest period, the Transcendent occupation will be obtained. Get the Transcendent profession. At that time, Zhou Yu's strength will become stronger. But you don't have to be afraid of this necromancer. Watching Zhou Yu's leaving back, Griu narrowed his eyes slightly. At the beginning, he was deadlocked with the sealed item. If Zhou Yu came in, it would completely break that fragile balance. But now, it's no longer a problem. Even if Zhou Yu has amazing defense, he was also able to pinch Zhou Yu to death easily. It can even be done now. However, after these few days of getting along, the astonishing genius of this somewhat out of the ordinary talent is basically the most astonishing existence among the geniuses he said he has ever seen. Compared with those SSS level geniuses, they are not much better. Even in his eyes, he would also like to give Zhou Yu a pertinent evaluation as a Transcendent master. His defense is really amazing. Naturally, he won't do it easily. He already planned to wait until he took out the treasure. Take Zhou Yu out of here personally. Lighthouse Camp Number 12. What you said is true. Thousand Commander Su Bai frowned slightly and looked at Centurion Commander Zhang Lei. After all, what Zhang Lei said was a bit too exaggerated. So much so that she couldn't believe it. But she knew Zhang Lei's temperament. Not that kind of nonsense. That being said, it's probably true. Although their explanations may be exaggerated, Zhou Yu's defensive ability is indeed amazing. Before, I could feel that he had about 4 times the energy, blood and physique of ordinary people. But now, his blood is no different from that of ordinary people. He has a restrained talent. Ability, I don't know, but Zhou Yu can control his own qi and blood. This alone is beyond the reach of ordinary people. Know that his talent awakening is only E level. Also, I suspect that Zhou Yu is hiding his blood. His qi and blood are definitely 4 times higher than before, Zhang Lei said. If that's the case, this Zhou Yu is most likely a hidden talent owner. Su Bai's heart twitched slightly. Implicit talent owner. Their core talent will not be manifested. It will only be an ordinary talent that manifests. It appears that this is just an ordinary transcendent. In fact, they may be A level, A level, or even S level. Hidden transcendent talent, never lower than a level. I also think so, but I couldn't hold it, so I reported it to you, my lord. Zhang Lei said truthfully. You're doing well. Zhou Yu will focus on this, and I'll submit a report to the higher-ups and apply for a special transcendent job at the same time. On our side, if he's really a genius, he won't be buried. Then there will be Lord Lao. Call. It's finally time to rest. After stationing the underground lighthouse for a week, there will be a week of rest. It can be regarded as one of the benefits of being an underground lighthouse resident. In the camp, those bastard teammates left early. Zhou Yu practiced for a while, and it was almost noon before he got up and was about to return to the ground. Zhou Yu just walked out of the gate of the camp. I heard someone calling myself. However, there were a lot of people at the entrance of the camp at this time. Zhou Yu didn't recognize who was calling him for a moment. No, I'm here. The voice sounded behind Zhou Yu, and at the same time, a hand patted Zhou Yu's back lightly. Zhou Yu turned around. The person who came was the C-level senior, Diana. Long time no see, sister. Zhou Yu greeted. Diana smiled, revealing sweet little dimples. For you, Diana said and handed over a small gift box. Looking at the gift box, Zhou Yu paused. It seems that senior sister Diana is interested in me, am I delusional? Sure enough, as cannon fodder, one shouldn't have love. Zhou Yu complained silently. Opening the gift box, what caught the eye was a crystal glass ball. Very nice gift. Fumbled around in the backpack behind him. Zhou Yu took out a silver necklace, and the pendant was a seraph with a slight silver light. This is what Zhou Yu found from the box in the Cobold wizard's cellar when he was searching for the Cobold territory. This angel necklace has a certain source force protection function, which can slightly speed up the gathering of surrounding source forces and increase the speed of transcendence practice a little. Overall a good loss. Give it to my senior sister. Thank you. Diana blushed as she accepted the gift from Zhou Yu. On the way forward, during the chat, Diana narrated, Junior Zhou Yu, what is your transcendent occupation? I haven't acquired the transcendent profession yet. Zhou Yu shrugged. Haven't got it yet. Isn't Junior Zhou Yu very powerful? One person can deal with 4 dark goblins. I think there are many newcomers in our lighthouse stronghold. Even if they have acquired the transcendent profession, they cannot deal with 4 dark goblins alone. Even if Zhou Yu has a certain strength now. But on paper Zhou Yu is nothing more than E-ranked cannon fodder. Cornstein City State. Every day, only 1 or 200 people can obtain the inheritance of the transcendent sequence, and the queues have to be queued for a long time. But Zhou Yu was not in a hurry, the further back the better. After all, Zhou Yu has shown his hidden talent and will definitely be valued by the people above. At that time, Zhou Yu can obtain the extremely powerful transcendent career. To take a step back, even if it is not taken seriously. Zhou Yu can also rely on himself to slowly replenish troops and grow up. Junior Zhou Yu, after more than half a month, it is said that there will be a group of students from the Steam City State of Lightfeather in the south, the Steam City State of Golden Valley in the west, and the Steam City State of Double Stars in the east. Quote, "Do you have time then? Can I participate too?" Zhou Yu asked curiously. The steam city-states are isolated from each other even if there is a wilderness. But through the navigation of airships, communication is still relatively frequent. This Transcendent Academy trainee exchange. Usually, genius-level existences meet each other and get to know each other. It is also possible to learn from each other. After all, the high-level forces of the major city-states, when some major events occur, will cooperate with each other. Get to know each other as soon as possible, and the future cooperation will be smoother. At that time, you can still go in with me. Diana's voice was very small, and she seemed a little shy. If I have time, I will definitely go. Zhou Yu nodded in the affirmative answer. By the way, senior sister Diana, in the past student exchanges, there would never be so many members of other city-states coming to our city-state, but this year, so many members came here at once. Did something happen? The ground fire in Black Flame Canyon to the north of our city-state broke out, don't you know? Black Flame Canyon. Fire at the Earth's core. Zhou Yu was taken aback. Black Flame Canyon, which is near the north of the Corn Steam city-state, is a famous periodic relic. Every 3 to 5 years, or 10 years, there will be a big explosion. At that time, the black flames there will fill the sky and even reach the sky. Then the flames will burn in the surrounding canyons hundreds of kilometers away. The entire huge canyon will become a the underworld-like area. And when those black flames erupt, many good things will be brought to the surface. It can be said that every eruption of Heian Canyon is a feast of treasures blooming. It is the big harvest season for Corn City State. Zhou Yu did not expect that the Black Flame Canyon would erupt at this moment. If only I were involved. Zhou Yu narrowed his eyes slightly. Maybe you can get a lot of good things. However, eligibility for participation is a problem. When I was stationed at the lighthouse before, I revealed a super talent. Hopefully, I can get the attention as soon as possible. More than half an hour later, the two came to the dungeon of the Corn City State through the long and narrow dark passage. Please Zhou Yu. After a hearty lunch, Diana made her way to the surface. And Zhou Yu followed the street to the commercial street in the dungeon. The underground city of the Corn City State is also quite prosperous, with people coming and going in the commercial street. The Red Gang arms shop that Lei Kai and the others are talking about should be this one. The past few days of guarding the lighthouse. Zhou Yu's previous weapon, worth 12 Transcendent coins, was scrapped long ago. It only took 3 days to roll the blade. This made Zhou Yu complain about those profiteers. For the next few days, Zhou Yu used the camp's standard weapons. Lei Kai saw that Zhou Yu was too useless for weapons, so he recommended this Honggang weapons store to Zhou Yu. It is said that this Honggang weapon shop uses underground, Red Gang iron, to forge weapons. The price is high though. But the weapon is really strong and sharp. In addition to buying weapons, Zhou Yu is also debating whether to buy some flying daggers. Possesses a powerful precision talent. Zhou Yu can still effectively attack some long-range units with flying daggers. Is there a recommended longsword weapon? Zhou Yu asked the waitress who was cleaning the weapon. This medium-sized heavy-edged sword is more suitable for transcendents like you. As he spoke, the waiter lifted out a weapon similar to the long sword in Zhou Yu's hand. This sword looks very important. Looking at the waiter's struggling expression, Zhou Yu secretly said, "This heavy-edged sword is dark red all over. It's like blood flowing." Compared with the thinner sword body in Zhou Yu's hand, this heavy-edged sword has a thick blade, although the blade is inconspicuous. But Zhou Yu could tell at a glance. This is not an ordinary weapon, this is already a first-order, transcendent weapon. This tier of transcendent weapons. And if it is used as a simple ordinary weapon, the power is not much different from ordinary iron weapons. And once it is activated with the transcendent source force, it will be completely different. Its power will be greatly increased. If it is an ordinary long sword, the attack power has 10 points. Then, as the first order, transcendent long sword, driven by transcendent source force, the attack power is 30 points. An ordinary long sword has 10 points of power, and at most it can exert 10 points of power. As for the transcendent long sword, the transcendent source power of different people is different. The breeding of transcendent equipment is different. The First Order Transcendent Longsword can even exert twice as much power, that is, 60 points of power. This is the great advantage of Transcendent equipment. For Zhou Yu, reaching the power of the Transcendent level, combined with its own 17 times critical strike damage. That is a proper explosive output. After listening to the waiter's narration, Zhou Yu was very satisfied with this Red Gang heavy sword. After all, it was a transcendent weapon. In order to give feedback to new and old customers, our store is currently holding an event. All the hot-selling Red Gang heavy-edged swords are sold at a discount of 99%, and now they are only sold for 198 transcendent coins. 10% off. You're totally insincere. What I'm missing is the discount for your 2 transcendent coins. Zhou Yu thought to himself. That Lei Kai must have introduced me to another black shop. Zhou Yu has accumulated more than 50 transcendent coins over the years. The salary for guarding the lighthouse for 1 week is 8 transcendent coins. In addition, the Cobold tribe was wiped out, many resources were searched and additional rewards were obtained. Zhou Yu got 15 transcendent coins. Adding up all the money, Zhou Yu's entire net worth is just over 70 transcendent coins. Where can I buy a transcendent weapon that costs close to 200? It seems that during the few days of rest, I have to find a way to make money. Otherwise, you won't be able to afford the equipment. Transcendent equipment, for those wealthy nobles and middle-class families. This kind of equipment is not rare. But for an E-level talent like Zhou Yu who grew up in an orphanage, it is completely unattainable, while guarding the lighthouse. Except for a few older 10 captains with transcendent weapons, everyone else has ordinary weapons. It is equivalent to a year's salary to buy a piece of transcendent equipment, which is out of reach for many people. Everyone I know is poorer than me. You don't even need to think about asking them to borrow money. I'm looking for Zhang Lei, the Centurion, and Su Bai, the 1000th Commander. They don't seem to be that close. It seems that Senior Diana has a good family background. Her short knife seems to be a transcendent weapon, and the soft armor that fits her body is also transcendent equipment. Thinking of this, Zhou Yu suddenly clenched his fist. Well, that's it, I've decided to go to Ryu to borrow money. That guy is a necromancer who likes to dig the ancestral graves of those nobles. He should have a lot of transcendent coins on him. More importantly, after borrowing money from that guy, you may not have to pay it back. After more than an hour, Zhou Yu came to the abandoned castle deep in the dark cave again. Aren't you on vacation today? Why are you here again? Ryu's mocking voice came. Didn't I worry that you were bored, so I came here to talk to you. Hee. Reeve laughed dryly. At the same time, the surrounding skeletons began to emerge from the mud. Huo, this guy is pretty conscious. Zhou Yu didn't say any more nonsense, and mentioned the long sword with a slightly curved edge in his hand. It started to replenish soldiers and add attributes. A few minutes later, 100 additional knife, all in hand. Why don't you leave? Looking at Zhou Yu who was standing still, Ryu asked curiously. Discuss something with you, Zhou Yu said confidently. What's the matter? Borrow money. Hiss. Ryu was completely shocked by the shamelessness of this guy in front of him. How thick-skinned this guy must be, how dare he make such a request? How much to borrow? Ryu asked after thinking about it. 200 transcendent coins. What are you borrowing money for? Buy equipment. Zhou Yu didn't hide anything either. Transcendent weapon. Yes. After half a sound, there was a bang. An item was thrown out by Ryu. Zhou Yu took a closer look. This is obviously a long sword in a scabbard. Zhou Yu stepped forward and reached out to grab the long sword, almost failing to pick it up. Good weight. At least it weighs 40 catties. As Zhou Yu pulled out the long sword, a crimson halo bloomed from the crimson sword body. This sword is very similar to the Red Gang heavy-edged sword that Zhou Yu saw before. Red Gang ore, with a peculiar material, is the basic material for forging transcendent weapons. Ryu's voice sounded. In the Red Gang mine vein, the most core ore is the Blood Gang iron ore. This Blood Gang heavy blade is a tier 3 transcendent weapon forged from Blood Gang iron ore. It's extremely powerful, and it's already drinking blood. Enough for you for a long time. Although the money has not been received. But this tier 3 weapon was in hand. It was really an unexpected blood profit. In addition, those profiteers were not allowed to make the difference. This wave is a direct win-win. Rubbing the Tier 3 living weapon in his hand, Zhou Yu looked at the castle again. A Tier 3 weapon. It's worth at least 1,000 Transcendent coins. Is this guy so rich? Zhou Yu became more and more curious about that Griyu in the castle. Thank you, I will pay you back when I earn the money. Don't bother me again, then you don't have to pay back the money. Griyu said indifferently. Am I the kind of person who borrows money and doesn't pay it back? The third order Transcendent equipment is worth 1,200 Transcendent coins, and I will be able to get it all soon. After all, he carried this heavy long sword on his back. Zhou Yu strode away. Wait until Zhou Yu is gone. Griyu just shook his head. Boy, that weapon is at least 1,500. Immediately, Griyu looked at the lightless passage in front of him that seemed to lead to the abyss. A long line made of special materials is going deep into the lightless passage, as if dragging something. The danger period has passed. In 2 days, we should be able to fish that thing out. I spent a lot of resources this time, and even myself almost fell here. I hope that the sealed item from the abyss will not let me down. Also, Griyu looked up to the north. Earth fire has appeared. Those believers of the evil god, the messengers of the evil god, are also about to move. The turmoil is about to, no, it has already arrived. This third order Transcendent heavy-edged sword is really heavy. Go back to the surface of the city-state, blank long street, in the small rented house of Own. Throw the long sword to the ground with a bang. Zhou Yu rubbed his tingling arm. Tandu has more than enough defense, but this strength and endurance are not very sufficient. I must become a Transcendent as soon as possible, so that I can improve my strength more effectively. Otherwise, I can't even use this third order Blood Gang heavy-edged sword in my hands. Zhou Yu thought to himself. The third order Blood Gang heavy blade is very powerful. Transcendents who are at least 30 or more can fully display their power. For Zhou Yu, obtaining the Transcendent profession as soon as possible and raising the own level are the most important things at present. In the next few days. Except for Zhou Yu's daily life. For the rest of the time, Zhou Yu entered the dungeon world. Entering the dungeon world, Zhou Yu neither looked for dark creatures to brush their attributes. He didn't bother Griyu anymore. Instead, find an area with relatively abundant source power and conduct subliminal training there. Zhou Yu also knew, even if you don't get the Transcendent job, self-cultivation can also break through the limits of the physical body and accumulate Transcendent levels. Zhou Yu also didn't expect to break through the limit of the physical body. It is enough to hope that through cultivation, the physical strength will be stronger, the endurance will be more abundant, and the battle will last longer. After Zhou Yu's talent increased by 1,000 times, 1 day of practice can be called 3 years of penance for others. But that's only theoretical, too. After all, the original power in this dark cave couldn't support Zhou Yu's crazy absorption. Without the original power, nourish the physical body and increase the upper limit. Not to mention 1,000-fold talent, even a 10,000-fold talent, it's hard for a smart woman to cook without rice. Just 3 or 4 days. Zhou Yu has already changed 7 or 8 places. And the result is obvious. At least the third-tier Transcendent longsword Blood Gang heavy-edged sword was not so heavy when Zhou Yu carried it on his back. It is even possible to use the Blood Gang épée sword for short-term battles. Bang bang bang. After breakfast, Zhou Yu was about to go out when he heard a heavy knock on the door. Open the door. What catches the eye is a tall woman in a white plaid dress with long lavender hair. Zhou Yu examined it carefully before asking in surprise, Lord Su Bai. The person who came was the Commander-in-Chief Su Bai. When Zhou Yu met the Commander-in-Chief, Su Bai, at the number 12 lighthouse camp earlier. The opponent is a heroic armored warrior. But at this time, it was a delicate and elegant noble lady. Zhou Yu almost didn't recognize him for a while. Get ready and follow me, Su Bai said bluntly. Are you coming? Zhou Yu's heart moved slightly. When Zhou Yu showed his defense against the powerful talent before, it has already been guessed that the above may conduct a second talent test on itself. Now it's finally here. Coming to the side of the street, Su Bai stopped a carriage. Go to the Transcendent Research Institute. The carriage starts. Zhou Yu, who was sitting opposite Subai, looked extraordinarily honest. After all, the next is an important moment to decide your future. Do you have hidden talent? Subai, who was pondering for a while, spoke suddenly. I don't know about that either. I just know that after I awaken the Transcendent talent, I only have an E-level Transcendent talent. However, during the battle, every time I kill an enemy, I can feel that I seem to absorb something. Then my chi and blood rose, and my defense ability rose. I think I should have a hidden talent. As for own Transcendent talent's rhetoric, Zhou has already imitated dozens of times in his heart. Growth talent. Subai looked slightly astonished. Hidden talent, at least A level. AA grade, even S grade as possible. More importantly, this is a growing talent. That value is even greater. Very good. Suber nodded. At the Transcendent Research Institute later, those Transcendent engineers will conduct a talent test on you. You have to cooperate with them. If you are really sure that you have a hidden talent, you will be trained by the highest level of the city-state, and even send you to the Transcendent Sacred Land. For the test you are about to accept, Zhou is not too worried, own particularity will be discovered. The reason is also very simple. That is Zhou can hide own Transcendent talent. That, 1,000 times talent amplification system. Although there is no concrete page. But Zhou could feel the existence of the system. And, borrowing the system, Zhou can also hide the own talent feature. For example, Zhou can hide the attribute display of the 1,000-fold effect increase. And hide own Transcendent talent grasp of immortality. At that time, no matter how you check, Zhou is the cannon fodder for an ordinary E-rank talent. And the reality is, Zhou's life frankness is astonishing, and his defense is astonishing. The result speaks for itself. Zhou is a Transcendent who possesses a highly hidden talent. After more than half an hour, Zhou followed Subai to get off at the entrance of the Transcendent Research Institute. At this time, several Transcendent researchers were already waiting there. Look at these smiling Transcendent researchers. No matter how Zhou looked at it, there was a feeling that the other party was looking at the little white mouse. I can't be the one piece, little white mouse, I will be one today. Within the next hour, Zhou has fully experienced what it is like to be a guinea pig. And throughout the process, there were some episodes. Say, for example, someone wants to come in for a blood draw. It turns out that Zhou's skin is harder than Transcendent steel. Even take out the toughest needle tube. The needles were all broken, and they couldn't draw a drop of blood from Zhou. Even Zhou tried to bite Own's tongue, but found that he couldn't do it. My defense is so strong that I can't hurt myself. Blood drawing can only give up. In addition to drawing blood. And hit testing. Breath of life test. Strength test. Speed test. Soul test. Transcendent talent detection. Wait for a series of comprehensive checks. When everything is done, Zhou was then sent to the observation room. During the test, Zhou also kept an eye on it. Zhou is well aware of the fact that own life frankness and defense are astonishing. If all attributes are released, sure to scare these people. During the breath of life test, Zhou bloomed own life breath, only bloomed about 50 times. What's more, Zhou uses the system and his own self-controlled life breath to restrain himself. Defense test and anti-strike test. After reaching the strike level of around level 20. Even though it's just scraping. But Zhou had already started yelling, saying that he couldn't take it anymore. Testers will stop. Take advantage of the trend to record these, limit, data. Effectively control own life tank and defense attributes. It also makes Zhou look less heaven-defying. Transcendent Institute. Meeting room. The Dean of the Transcendent Research Institute, 2 vice presidents, and 6 top Transcendent engineers. These people are the top group of people in the Transcendent Research Institute. And at this time, all these people gathered together. In their hands is the data of Zhou's entire test. At this time, there was also an assistant of a senior Transcendent engineer, telling the story. At present, all kinds of routine test data are available. More resistance tests, such as poison resistance, erosion resistance, distortion resistance, pollution resistance, charm resistance, etc. Because of the limitations of the venue and the protection of testers, we didn't use all kinds of means and high doses too exaggeratedly. After all, Zhou Yu is just a tester, not a prisoner to be tortured. Although it was just a simple test, Zhou Yu's resistance performance is extremely good. With the nod of Hong Tianai, the director of the Transcendent Research Institute. The assistant just stopped talking. Everyone also began to carefully examine the various test data in their hands. As an expert in the well-informed Transcendent attribute, the more you look at Zhou Yu's data, they are more startled. This is no longer a question of honesty. This guy named Zhou Yu. It is simply a walking humanoid boss. The blood bar is long and the defense is high. Can resist and fight, comparable to a lord-level boss. After careful examination, the dean, Hong Tianai, raised his head. What do you think? According to Zhou Yu's dictation, he said that he can continuously grow through fighting and killing. A senior Transcendent engineer adjusted his glasses and spoke in a calm tone. At the beginning, the growth rate of life frankness and defense ability is amazing. Growth started to flatten out over time. Even if the area is flat, the growth rate is still amazing. It can be seen as a combination of high growth stability and durability. This is obviously some kind of defensive growth talent with boss characteristics. According to Zhou Yu's explanation, during this period, he probably killed 300 or 400 dark creatures. That's not a lot. The growth effect is exceptionally amazing. I preliminarily speculate that it is at least an S-level hidden talent growth talent. Even an SS-level hidden growth talent. As the senior Transcendent engineer with glasses finished speaking, others also spoke one after another. I speculate that the high probability is SS grade. According to the subsequent growth characteristics, it will fluctuate between S grade and SSS grade. I generally agree with that. Moreover, this is still a growth talent, the potential is so huge, unimaginable. At least S rank, most likely SS, and possibly SSS rank. This is the evaluation given to Zhou Yu by this group of top experts. But anyway, Zhou Yu's heaven-defying talent. It has completely surprised them. After all, S-level talent, they have not appeared in the city-state of Koan for many years. Not to mention the existence of S rank. Even the A grades were released 5 years ago. And this year, suddenly, an SS-level heaven-defying existence appeared, and it was also a growth talent. For such an SS-level super genius, now the question is before them. What should they do? To the holy city of Transcendent. It's a nice idea, but the problem is, the trial of Transcendent Holy City has already begun. And the seats are already full. Zhou Yu sent it over, but it was useless. At most, it would be to compensate them with some extra resources. It would be better to let Zhou Yu stay in the Cornsteam city-state. As for forcibly sending Zhou Yu there, in the follow-up training, he would crowd out other people's places. This is something they dare not even think about. Their Corn city-state, in the Sun God Transcendent Empire, has a very weak right to speak. Basically, it is a small and transparent existence. Even if they could squeeze out those A places, they would not dare. Those who can send A over and occupy the quota. Those are all powerful, and they basically caused existence. And staying in the Corn city-state, they don't have more resources to help this Zhou Yu better display his own talent. After all, the Transcendent era has been developing for nearly 1,000 years. The entire training process is already very mature. From basic necessities of life, to martial skill training, to teacher guidance, and combat trials. All require a large investment of resources. They obviously don't have that many Transcendent resources to invest in Zhou Yu. He could have been trained to become a level 100 superpower. In their hands, it is possible to advance to level 80, which is very difficult. This is the gap in system training. After thinking for a long time, the dean, Hong Tianai, then spoke slowly. Send Zhou Yu there, I'm afraid it's already too late. First of all, this is a hidden talent. Although our test is SS level, they may not recognize it. It's been more than half a month before and after. Growing talents, especially this kind of killing and growing talents, have a lot of room for manipulation. We say that Zhou Yu killed 300 or 400 dark creatures. They can absolutely say that we used this half a month to operate in secret and let Zhou Yu kill 4,000 to 5,000 dark creatures. Forcibly raising Zhou Yu's talent, we can only recognize Zhou Yu as an A level. At that time, we will only make fun of ourselves and offend others. My suggestion is that we train ourselves. We can pour a lot of resources on Zhou. Establish a dedicated training team. In addition, the City Lord still has some faces, and he uses some connections. Transcendent career, you can find better ones. Teacher combat, that guy Alec was expelled for committing crimes in the temple of the sun god Transcendent. But his coaching ability is still worthy of recognition. I will write to him and bring a super genius with SS level growth talent. I think he must be very interested. As for the combat environment, the environment around our city-state is bad enough. Especially the fire erupting in the center of the earth in the north, which will last for a long time. It's enough for Zhou's early growth to provide a high enough difficulty. There are dangers, but the birth of every super genius must go through cruel battles and honing. Even in the temple of the sun god Transcendent, geniuses fall every year. Cultivated here, it will have a greater effect on our city-state. Following Hong Tianai's narration, the tone of Zhou's growth was set. Vice President Tianyu, Zhou's growth plan and protection plan are up to you to make. Yes, Tian Yushin, who was about 50 years old, responded in a deep voice. In addition, Zhou's test attributes, as well as Zhou's hidden talent, are immediately classified as top secret. All members who know the news immediately sign the top secret contract. Any information leakage must be blocked as soon as possible, and some special means can even be used to eliminate it at critical moments. Understood. Tian Yu nodded cautiously. Okay, everyone, let's get to work. When everyone started to work hard for that SS level genius Zhou. When everyone was busy, Hong Tianai rushed towards the City Lord's mansion. For such an important matter, he needs to report to the City Lord immediately. I don't know how they tested and analyzed. Although I hid talent, it should at least be an A, possibly an AA. If it's S-class, it's even better. It's been over 2 hours. There's no one coming for a long time, so why don't they discuss how to slice me up? Even if it is to study how to slice, these 2 hours are enough. Zhou, who was locked in the observation room, thought of all kinds of boring things. Bang bang bang. Zhou knocked on the large glass. I need to go to the toilet. Zhou shouted. No one came here all the time. Zhou panicked a little. Soon the alloy door of the observation room was opened. Just when Zhou was about to go out, a toilet was brought in, and the alloy door closed at a wider speed. FK. Looking at the toilet, Zhou's expression changed. This is too bullying. At this time, the horn in the observation room sounded. In view of the special situation of Your Excellency Zhou, we need to protect you in all aspects at present. Please wait quietly with Zhou and Your Excellency. All-round protection. You are under house arrest. I want to appeal. Zhou slandered fiercely in her heart. The ghost knows how many people are looking at him behind the double-sided glass. No more peeing. I'm holding back. Although slightly dissatisfied with the situation in front of me. But Zhou could still detect some unusual auras. That A-level genius, after awakening, it was immediately protected by the Cohen Steam Federation. And known as a hidden genius, and also a growing talent. The protection is naturally stronger. AA level. S-class. Zhou was also not sure what level his exposed attributes made him evaluate. Anyway, about 1/10 of what Zhou took out was less than the growth attribute. In fact, it is more than 10 times exaggerated than what they saw. I just want to show off my talent and get a better transcendent career. It ended up putting me in. This wave is really a big loss. Stay well. Zhou, who was imprisoned here, sat up cross-legged and began to practice. Among other things, the richness of the transcendent origin of the Transcendent Research Institute is still very amazing. Twice or even 3 times thicker than the thickest transcendent that Zhou encountered in the underground passage. More importantly, there are many origins of transcendent here. If the dark passage is just a small puddle, so the origin of this Transcendent Research Institute is a huge pond. It was enough for Zhou to absorb wantonly without worrying about sucking it dry in a while. A large amount of original power was absorbed by Zhou. After being refined and purified, Zhou's body was devoured and digested by hundreds of millions of cells. Sure enough, it is still comfortable to absorb in the big environment. In the dark passage, you have to change places every once in a while, and it's not fun at all to hide in a shallow way every time. Continuously absorbing a large amount like this is enough. When Zhou Yu absorbed the transcendent essence, Kano Kern, the city lord of the Kern Steam city-state, has come to the back of the huge glass together with Hong Tianai, the director of the Transcendent Research Institute. Transcendent world, after thousands of years of development. The various ethnic branches and clans have long been confused together. However, it can be roughly distinguished from the name that their ancestral group is the people there. Hong Tianyi belongs to the Yanwang race in the subtropical plain. Kano Koan, on the other hand, is a high-latitude, cold-zone Anglo family. In the Transcendent era, most of them were based on city-states. No matter how large the scope is, it is the sphere of influence of the great emperor country, and the bigger one is the plain family. At this moment, Zhou Yu looked at Zhou Yu, who was sitting and absorbed. Kano Koan frowned slightly. In his perception, Zhou Yu is like a black hole, frantically absorbing and devouring the surrounding transcendent origin. No need to look at any data. Just watching Zhou Yu frantically devouring and absorbing the source like a whale. Kano Koan can tell. This awakened human being who has not obtained the transcendent profession. At least it is SS level, maybe it is still SSS level. After all, judging from talent speculation, it does have the possibility of SSS level. Can our Corn city-state really afford this kind of monster? After watching for a while, Kano Koan turned his head to look at Hong Tianyi. At this time, looking at Zhou Yu's exaggerated speed of absorbing the source. He also rubbed his eyebrows. This Zhou Yu's talent is probably higher than he guessed. Do your best, unless you can send it to the temple of the sun god Transcendent. Hong Tianyi responded like this. It's a pity that it's a hidden talent. They definitely won't admit it's an SS class. Kano Koan shook his head. If it's an explicit SS level talent, I'll definitely fight for it. If it was an obvious SS level talent, we would have sent him there long ago. Hong Tianyi also said helplessly. Just follow the plan you made. Kano Koan said in his thoughts. Then you need to find Zhou Yu as soon as possible, the Steam Sequence Knight, or the inheritance of the Steam Sequence Warrior. How fast? As fast as you can. Understood. I'll take the Devil Airship and go to Holy Totem King City, where there are treasures inherited from the sequence of Steam Knights and Steam Warriors. If it goes well, I will be able to come back in 2 days, 3 days at the latest. Hong Tianai nodded. The Steam sequence is the most suitable, and it is one of the most powerful sequences in the plane era. Even in those high-level planes, this is a powerful sequence. Zhou Yu's frankness is amazing, and it goes without saying that he has a carrying capacity. It fits the Steam sequence so well. Indeed, with the Steam sequence, this Zhou Yu, who is at least an SS-level genius, can go further. Kano Koan said. This sublime training. Zhou Yu didn't know how long he had practiced. Anyway, there is a steady stream of transcendence around. Zhou Yu opened up the absorption. Come and absorb as much as you want. Gradually Zhou Yu felt that he had touched the limit of his current physical body. Almost twice the physical quality of a normal person. Although my talent is mediocre, after increasing by 1,000 times, it is already very powerful. Try it, maybe you can break the limit of this physical body. With Zhou Yu breaking the limit barrier of the physical body, Zhou Yu only felt a slight resistance. Then, Kaka. Pong. The physical barrier that is extremely difficult to break through. In front of Zhou Yu, he was easily broken through. I haven't tried hard enough, you're broken. Barrier, you have to brace yourself. It's such an easy breakthrough. I don't feel a sense of accomplishment. After breaking through the barrier, Zhou Yu stopped improving. After the physical body breaks the barrier, it needs a period of precipitation. That way you don't overdraw your potential. After physical breakthrough, Zhou Yu will also be relatively relaxed in the subsequent level breakthrough. Zhou Yu stopped practicing and stood up. A strong sense of hunger came to my face. There was also a stomach ache and a feeling that my bladder was going to explode. Just as I was wondering if I should use the toilet to solve it. The door of the observation room is already open. The bathroom is over here. The staff also kindly reminded. Zhou Yu snatched the door and fled away. After coming out of the bathroom, there were already staff guarding outside. This is the cafeteria, and a sumptuous lunch has been prepared for you. The staff said with a smile on their faces. This treatment, Feels a bit like a dream. Even when you go to the bathroom, someone has to guard the door. The hungry Zhou Yu couldn't care less about thinking too much. While gobbling it up in a restaurant, Zhou Yu also sorted out the clues quickly. Obviously, the talent I was tested for should be high. That's why there is such a treatment. Now, I finally don't have to worry about going underground as cannon fodder. However, instead of going underground as cannon fodder, hunting dark creatures to improve their attributes may be a little troublesome. Sure enough, geniuses also have troubles of geniuses. Well, let's let more troubles like this come. His gaze passed over the 3 staff members stationed at the side. Have you eaten yet? Why don't you eat together? No, no, no. The leading staff member waved his hands quickly. Just enjoy it yourself. If you need anything else, just mention it. I'll let the kitchen prepare it for you. Hiss. Is this the treatment of a genius superior? Sure enough, the gap with cannon fodder is as high as the ground. By the way, how long have I been practicing there? Zhou Yu asked again after thinking about it. You stayed there for 38 hours, of which 36 hours were spent in cultivation. The staff responded immediately. 36 hours, 2 days and 1 night. The 10 days of intermittent practice before, plus this day and a half. Let me break through the limit of my physical body. The efficiency is astonishing, talent is indeed very high. The limit of the first stage is twice the strength of the physical body, then the next stage is 5 times the strength. But that's only if there's no transcendent level. With the transcendent grade, that's not what this algorithm is for. At that time, upgrading the level is the kingly way. After eating and drinking, Zhou Yu stood up and was about to leave. A group of more than 10 people walked into the cafeteria. These people, the first few were wearing casual clothes. The 7 or 8 people behind were fully armed. And each of them has a strong breath, at least an existence above the 30th level. At the 30th level, in the Corn City state, everyone is qualified to be a commander. And the heavy armored warrior in the lead gave Zhou Yu an extremely dangerous aura. One must know that Zhou Yu's defense was extremely astonishing. And this man actually gave Zhou Yu a dangerous aura. One can imagine the strength of the heavily armored warrior. The lineup configuration of such a group of people can be called luxurious. Zhou Yu, here is your job acceptance letter. As he spoke, the gray-haired old man in the lead put a job notification letter in front of Zhou Yu. Your post of garrison lighthouse in the dungeon has been revoked. You are now officially an A-level genius member of the Corn City State's A-level hidden transcendent talent. Immediately go to the genius training base of the Corn City State. A-level. Zhou Yu's heart skipped a beat. Is this a bit too low? Could it be that you used too much force and restrained too much? You should know when to be frank. It's a pity that it's a done deal, and Zhou Yu can't let them test himself again. But A is not bad, and it is still an A-level growth talent, which has more advantages than the previous A-level. I don't know that A-level genius, what kind of talent is awakening? After Zhou Yu digested it, the old man continued. After becoming an A-level genius member, every month, 30,000 transcendent coins for resource allocation, and additional transcendent material distribution. Additional transcendent material distribution does not occupy the resource distribution share of the 30,000 transcendent coins. But it can only be purchased in the Genius Cultivation Mall of the city-state. Do you understand? Tian Yu asked. Understood. Zhou Yu nodded. Have you never eaten pork or seen a pig running? When they were in the academy, what the students liked most was discussing about geniuses. Some special C level, B level, A level, all level and many other genius levels. Zhou Yu has long been familiar with their resource cultivation. Even Zhou Yu knew that the resource allocation of 30,000 transcendent coins for A-level geniuses was beyond the quota. Additional resource distribution is also a very important part. There is also a gap in the A-level. Excellent performance, rapid progress, willing to practice hard. The extra delivery is naturally much. And the guy who is greedy for pleasure, makes slow progress, is even arrogant about his talents, and doesn't pay attention to other people. Not only additional delivery, but will be greatly reduced. Even the basic 30,000 transcendent coins will be deducted partly. Tian Yu continued to talk. Take care of your personal affairs as soon as possible today. At nightfall, you will go to the Coen City State Trial Training Base and participate in the training plan sequence with other geniuses. I'm going to pass today. Sigh, I haven't had time to redeem my massive combat achievements yet. They have revoked my position as a lighthouse keeper, and my combat achievements have been directly reset to 0, a blood loss. And my bastard teammates, I don't know when I'll be able to see them. I haven't even remembered their names yet. Although the time spent with those guys is not long. But with those guys, huddling together for a fire, sharing food, huddling to sleep at night and so on. Although life was a little bit tough, Joyu felt comfortable there. Concentrate your mind. Although the previous days were good, but if you want to rise, you must naturally welcome the upcoming new life of genius. Also, Tian Yu continued after a pause. This Master Wan's Excellency, Zhao Moshan. During your practice, he will serve as your exclusive bodyguard. Chief Wan, Zhao Moshan. Zhou Yu's eyes widened in an instant. Corn City State, the strongest Transcendent at level 50, Zhao Moshan. It is said that when this guy enters Transcendent form he can even lift a mountain. Although there are exaggerated ingredients. But its strength can be known from these rumors. In the city-state of Qin, the Zhao Moshan, who is among the top experts, is actually my guard. This treatment, Zhou Yu with a calm mind. Examine the scene in front of you. Zhou Yu already understood. My next path is completely different. This year, among the students of the Transcendent Awakening in the Cornsteam City-State. Grade A Genius, 1. Grade B Geniuses, 24th place. Talents above the B level are eligible to enter the Transcendent Training Base of the Cornsteam City-State for trial training. At this time, Genius Training Base, except for some geniuses who have important things to deal with. There are a total of 20 geniuses selected this year, and all of them are gathered in the Steam Hall of the training base at this time. The people waiting here are discussing in private. I heard that guy is not only an A level, but also a growth-oriented A level. I'm afraid. Speaking of the Transcendent Knight holding a long spear, he glanced at Ian, who was practicing sword alone not far away. It's even stronger than Ian's talent. By then, Ian will definitely take away more resources. That's what I said, but this is a battle between A-level geniuses, and it has nothing to do with us B-level geniuses. Who says it's not big? If there is another genius, some of the resources of our B-level geniuses will also be allocated. It is true that some of them will be distributed. There is a precedent for this before. Hiss. So, it would be best if the newly born Transcendent Genius doesn't come. Do you have any plans? Certainly. What's the plan? In the middle of the night, hang him in front of his door, scare him to death. Cal Batch, your idea is really brilliant. I sponsor you a strong twine. Among the people chatting and joking. As a Transcendent Genius who has awakened an A-level talent this year, Ian. He is practicing sword alone. Ian was originally the most shining existence in this session. And it does. In just a dozen days, it has already reached the Transcendent 8th level, making rapid progress. And this is when he is not mainly upgrading the level. If he mainly raised the level, he would have already reached more than 10 levels. With the comprehensive improvement of Transcendent skills, combat skills, and levels, Ian's strength is no longer weak. It is said that Ian is very valued by the above. But now the situation is different. Just 2 days ago, news suddenly spread that an invisible talent, a genius, had appeared in the Corn City State. And it is still a growth talent. At this moment, the geniuses who were originally practicing became lively for the first time. Genius disputes are also emerging endlessly in the Corn City State. There are resources to cultivate, and there is no resource to cultivate. That is completely two concepts. If it is an A grade, naturally, a large amount of resources will be poured into that one person. If there are 2 A grades, one mountain cannot accommodate 2 tigers. These 2 geniuses are obviously going to compete for the top. Whoever has the stronger talent will be more powerful. Naturally, more attention will be paid and more resources will be obtained. This afternoon, that genius will arrive at the Corn City State Genius Training Base. Ian has been here for a long time, while others, naturally, they came after hearing the news. Maybe there will be another fight. A battle between geniuses is always welcome. Zhou Yu followed Zhao Moshan towards the talent training base. Feeling the blood gang heavy sword on his back, his steps are light. After 2 days of silent training, Zhou Yu's physical body broke through the limit of the first level. His physical strength was about twice that of a normal person. The heavy-edged blood sword weighing more than 40 kilograms was also much lighter in Zhou Yu's hands. When carrying it, it's already effortless. Your Highness Zhou Yu, Zhao Moshan, who was following Zhou Yu, said abruptly. As Zhou Yu's status was promoted to a grade, a genius of the Qin city-state, Zhao Moshan's name changed. What's the matter? I just got news that at the training base, many geniuses of this year have gathered in the Steam Hall. They seem to be waiting for you. Wait for me. Zhou Yu was taken aback. Am I so welcome? Are they going to form a group to welcome me? Zhao Moshan grinned. They're not here to welcome you, they're to give you a blow. Get off the horse. Zhou Yu frowned slightly. Actually, is not Zhou Yu afraid of these guys who make trouble for him? Instead, I was worried that I would beat these guys to autism. Just their scraping injuries, not to mention wasting time, but also waste clothes. However, Your Highness Zhou Yu, don't worry too much. With me around, they won't really hurt you. Zhao Moshan said. It won't really hurt me, but if I'm not strong enough, it will also be very embarrassing if I am beaten violently by others. Zhou Yu secretly slandered. In Zhao Moshan's response, Zhou Yu also made it clear. Talent training base. Obviously not all. Talent theory. It is also a transcendent occupation. It is also an A-level talent. One performed outstandingly, advanced bravely in the torrent, and made breakthroughs layer by layer. A weak, slow progress, hopeless breakthrough. The future of these two geniuses will be completely different. It is clear at a glance who to focus on training. For the competition of these geniuses, the training base is obviously acquiescing. However, those A-level geniuses, B-level geniuses, they have all acquired the transcendent profession, and the lowest level is 5/6 level, and the high level is even 7/8 level. As for me, as an A-level genius, I don't have a transcendent profession, and my level is 0. Conflict with them, on paper, I am completely at a disadvantage. Well, you can't say that. When I tested it before, the characteristics of the growth attribute released were obviously not comparable to the geniuses of the same class. So, this may be a talent training base, and it was released on purpose. Let's see how my growing talent will look after it grows to a certain level. In this way, the thinking is very clear. If there is no conflict, everyone is good. If there is a conflict, don't blame me for being ruthless. Zhou Yu thought to himself. For many transcendent geniuses of the same class, their attacks are undoubtedly scraping. I just don't know if these geniuses shave more than others. I'll find out later. Transcendent Talent Training Base. Steam Hall. At this time, nearly hundreds of people have gathered here. Among these people, there are not only the geniuses of this year. There are also many geniuses in the base who did not go out to perform tasks in the last session, and many instructors and so on. The eyes of so many people focused on the two groups of people in the hall. Yibo is a talented team headed by Zhou Yu. The other wave is naturally the original talented members headed by Ian. The arrival of Zhou Yu will reduce the resources they allocated. They naturally carry the meaning of hostility. Although I know that you don't welcome me, there is no need to be so loud. All gathered here, you don't go to work tomorrow, don't you work? Feeling that many eyes gathered on him, Zhou Yu stabilized his mind. It's time for a wave of wonderful operations. The one with the sword must be Joey. Hearing Zhou Yu's name, Joey stepped out with a sword in his hand and nodded indifferently. And the people behind are probably all the B-level geniuses of our Qin city-state in this wave. After finishing speaking, if no one objected, that's it. Very good. Zhou Yu nodded. Then he untied the Blood Gang heavy-edged sword he was carrying. Is it about to ignite? Everyone immediately looked forward to it. However, in the eyes of everyone, Kangdang, a sound. Zhou Yu threw the sword directly on the ground in shock. Everyone was in an uproar. FK, what is this for? Give up your sword and surrender. Isn't that too blatant? As a genius, don't you lose any face? What a joke. Just Zhou Yu's 17 times critical damage. Coupled with this Blood Gang heavy-edged sword, the boss can't handle the critical strike, let alone these low-level little crispy skins. In order to avoid unnecessary casualties, I don't use a sword, you can do whatever you want. I'm in a hurry, let's go together. Zhou Yu said loudly. Hiss. Everyone's faces changed. This Zhou Yu, he is too rampant. Behind Zhou Yu, Zhao Moshan frowned slightly. Zhou Yu's real talent is known. As Zhou Yu of the SS growth talent, there is no doubt that the talent is powerful. It was Zhou Yu's detached personality that gave him quite a headache. Need not, I can do it alone. The leader, Ian, frowned slightly, and said in a deep voice. Gang fight, he obviously can't. Don't talk about him, other B-level talents also want to face it. If you don't need a weapon, I don't need it either. Ian sheathed his sword. It doesn't matter, Zhou Yu said indifferently. A group of people scraping and one scraping, the effect is the same. Stride to the center of the steam hall. Zhou Yu stood with his arms tied. I'm Zhou Yu, a super tank hidden growth talent. The output ability is not good, but the defense ability is super strong. You can output as much as you can, and if you can take one step back from me, you win. Although the words are plain, every word reveals arrogance and arrogance. If possible, Zhou Yu also hopes that he can develop and supplement the knife secretly. No way. Became a genius. Moreover, he is also the top genius of the Corn City State, the existence of Dage in the future. Combat performance, it is impossible to stealth. Good. Ian also smiled. The meteor came rushing forward with big strides, broke through the airwaves with a punch, and smashed down hard. Zhou Yu's free and easy personality made him feel that this guy is very interesting. Therefore, he had to use 12% of his strength to let Zhou Yu know that as an A-level genius, he was not a vegetarian. Boom! A punch landed on Zhou Yu's chest, and the source power fluctuated violently. Eyes on each other. Zhou Yu frowned slightly. Ian's brows frowned even harder, almost knitting together. Zhou Yu. No way. I thought this guy would hurt more from scratching, but he didn't feel it at all. Ian. No way. My punch has special real damage, and he doesn't even bat an eye. Very good. Please continue, Zhou Yu said to Ian. Ian's expression changed. With a sudden squeeze of both fists, golden light bloomed. Very talented Ian. Gradually mastered the sharp metal properties of own Transcendent. When attacking, it can come with good real damage. No matter how thick the opponent's defense is. Under the penetration of real damage, it will also be unbearable for the opponent. Boom, 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 punch after punch. The sharp golden light exploded on Zhou Yu's body. Feel the opponent's attack. The corner of Zhou Yu's mouth twitched slightly. Because, the chest of Zhou Yu's black dress had been completely smashed by the opponent. Zhou Yu's own defense is amazing, but this clothes are ordinary clothes. This is the most decent dress I have. It's worth 10 Transcendent coins. This guy didn't do it on purpose. It seems that it is necessary to get a set of clothing with Transcendent attributes, otherwise it would be too useless for fighting. I remember that there are clothes of this kind in the Genius Mall. Otherwise, it would be too ridiculous for the clothes to be smashed to pieces during the decisive battle of the strong. It's okay for a strong man, but for a strong woman, I'm afraid. I dare not think about it. Thinking about it, Zhou Yu moved towards Ian's attacking feeling. Well, it seems that his attack has special damage attached to it. However, this special damage is still largely resisted by my defense, and a small amount of damage can hurt me. However, the recovery speed of my 8 or 900 times the blood bar is exaggerated compared to this damage. It's a hard scrape that doesn't hurt or itch. With Ian's onslaught like waves hitting the shore, everyone's faces became more and more solemn, even stunned. Even if it is a tank growth talent, you have to have a limit. While being beaten, you are even distracted. Is this really good? After hundreds of punches in a row, on Zhou Yu's chest, the clothes had completely crumbled, revealing his solid muscles. As for Ian, his expression couldn't hold back anymore. Looking at him like this, he has the momentum of a decisive battle until dawn. Just when Zhou Yu was trying to figure out how to end it. All right, Zhao Moshan, who was not far behind Zhou Yu, spoke abruptly. In this battle, you come and go, both sides will not retreat a step, the strength is evenly matched, it will be a tie. Following Zhao Moshan's opening, everyone secretly complained about Zhao Moshan's black whistle. You are blatantly rubbing everyone's IQ on the ground. However, everyone did not have the slightest objection. Otherwise, the ghost knows when it will be reached. Zhao Moshan, who called to stop, was very clear. If the fight continues like this, I am afraid that everyone will doubt whether Zhou Yu is really A level. As far as Zhou Yu's performance is concerned, some people may have doubted it. Ian, who stopped his hand, took a deep look at Zhou Yu. This is no tie. Totally his fiasco. What made him even more angry was when he was outputting with all his strength. Zhou Yu seemed to be still thinking about other things. This guy is so defiant. However, it is clear that the opponent has strength. Ian, who is inferior to others, has no intention of being annoyed. His only thought now was, go back and practice hard. Wait until the strength is strong, come to challenge again. Thanks for watching, please like and subscribe.